Oh, there we go. How you doing, Web? Feels like Mr. Guitar Man when I do that. Check out my Tuesday video! That's not a good idea. So let's see how we do this. The chair isn't adjusted very well. It's a good angle. There we go. It's not like anybody's going to watch this anyway, except for maybe my brother. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to test out seeing how good I am at this whole YouTube thing and see what I've learned from others and if I'm any good at it. Probably not. So based on a couple friends and my experiences, I wanted to try a video game review of something. Something I've never really played before, but I own it anyway. So I thought a good pick would be the Evangelion game for the Sega Saturn. Now, I've only played this once, and my girlfriend's actually pretty decent at Japanese, so she was able to pick out some of the bits. From what it seems like, it's almost like a dating sim, but, you know, worse. So we'll get it in, and we'll see how I do this. I'm going to be using a Easy Cap that I bought a few years ago and just actually started having Mac support.
Damn it, just don't go back in!
Alright, so here we go at the regular Saturn startup screen that everybody should be familiar with. Just little pixels flying in. I was mesmerized by this back when I still had crap in my pants. Starting up, and I'm going to be using a action replay, which is a necessity because this is an American console and it is a Japanese game. So just a regular good old start with no cheats, because I can't imagine you would ever need them for this piece of shit. But we're going to go ahead and start it up anyway. Some familiar music from the actual show. It's going to show you a bunch of text with some red in it. There's a lot of kanji, so I have no idea what's going on. I'm not even going to attempt to realize what it is. Probably something like you're going to die if you play this for more than 10 minutes. So this scene is a little familiar. It's got some dialogue into it, and it kind of sounds like a leading up to another episode sort of scenario, where it's like, here's what you've missed on the previous episode, so now this is what we're going to jump into. Yay! Now the startup screen, I was so surprised with how clean and crisp and all these pictures moving along. This really showed off the Saturn's capability at the time, and it made me think this game was going to be good. Well, I was wrong. Jumping in and starting a character or save file, I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. It seems kind of dumb to put in a real name, so I'm just going to laugh at Japanese and say no, 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 no. And then go ahead and jump right into it. Now this should be pretty familiar. It gives you a introduction, you know, the standard opening cinematic of Evangelion in its Sega Saturn VCD quality glory, which is quite frankly pretty crappy. So jumping ahead, because I don't really want to go through everything about this game, they're showing you some clips in a smaller window with this sort of outline to it, showing you the game. Now, this is actually what the game looks like. It's tiny clips of things going on, and you manipulate them, kind of like in a Myst sort of way, and you get this back and forth, where here's the enemy on one side, and then there's you on the other, and you get a tiny little 3-second clip, and it reveals something. The background tends to flip a little bit, which is kind of interesting, but giving you the scenario from the show is that you're in a testing facility, and this is the first level, so, you know, if you die, you don't actually die. And it's kind of showing off that even you as a player and Shinji himself have no idea what we're doing here, which is going to be pretty much the premise for the entire game. So after hitting some sort of roulette system, it's going to show that you're facing one of the other EVAs, and it gives you, on your D-pad, you have up, down, left, right, LR, and the A button that does something. It gives you this weird grid, and you'll see the buildings going down like they do in the show, but there's a D-pad, you move away or towards the enemy. It now gives you another roulette system. I've never actually figured out what this does, and a number. Now in an actual combat scenario where you see my life on the right and his on the left, it's going to give me the roulette and then have an up, down, left, and right, and I have an option to react to, let's say, this laser. So I'm going to pick up, and it's going to throw a bunch of buildings away, and I'm going to hit a wall. Now this is most of the entire game, me moving away, them showing one of the same clips either mirrored or flipped or something, you know, very, very similar. So here the other is, again, shooting a laser in a mirrored clip, me selecting left, it failing, throwing some buildings up, and me running into a wall again. Now sometimes they do give you the ability to attack the other person, but I've never actually figured it out. So on the left you have a knife, a gun on the right, and down some sort of kick, but you have the scenario in order to do it in a time frame. And they punch me, and I never actually successfully hurt them at any time. Now that is actually the end of that battle, and now I've run out of life, and they just insult me because I'm an idiot.
And that's pretty much it. Now, I've never really understood what you need to do, and later on they give you like sort of a yes or no scenario, and you get to kiss a girl or not, and I guess the benefit of this, it seems like these clips were never actually in the show from what I remember, that you almost get to kind of like pick your own adventure, so to speak, with clips that are exclusive, which is why this game was so rare at the time. Now I'm going through the instruction manual, and like all this stuff doesn't make a tiny bit of sense to me. Apparently I needed to hit the trigger more often. See, even this guy doesn't even know what the hell he needs to do in this game. Overall, I'm nearly embarrassed to have this in my collection. It's just going to sit on a wall until one day I finally blow it up in a house fire, and I'm definitely not going to run back in to get this piece of crap. So this was just kind of a test to see how I am good at this and whatnot. Thanks for watching if I do actually put this online, and until next time. I think I stole that thumbs up from Retro Snow.